Okay, let's be real. You've clicked on this video because you're procrastinating right now, aren't you? I mean, no judgment, I get it. You've got this thing you're supposed to be doing, but somehow here you are on YouTube, convincing yourself that this counts as research or self-improvement. Sound familiar? Yeah, I've been there too, but here's the thing. What if I told you that the way we think about procrastination is all wrong? Like, what if the real reason you keep putting things off isn't laziness or lack of willpower? What if there's a simple cure for procrastination that no one really talks about? And no, it's not just some productivity hack or like waking up at 5 a.m. It's way deeper than that. So stick with me for the next few minutes. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll have a whole new perspective on procrastination and the tools to finally break free from it. Ready? Let's do this. So, let's start with the big question. Why do we procrastinate? Like, really? Because it's definitely not because we're lazy. I hate that word. No one wants to feel like they're just slacking off for no reason. And honestly, most of us want to get things done. We want to be productive, feel accomplished, and not have that pit in our stomach from avoiding stuff. The truth is, procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's a coping mechanism. And it all comes down to one thing: emotion. Yup, procrastination is emotional. Think about the tasks you put off. It's usually not because the task itself is impossible. It's because it feels uncomfortable. Maybe it's boring or overwhelming, or you're scared of failing, or you're worried about being judged. And instead of facing that discomfort, your brain goes, hey, you know what would feel better right now? Watching this YouTube video. Or scrolling TikTok, or reorganizing your sock drawer. Anything to avoid that uncomfortable feeling. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people try to fight procrastination with more pressure. I just need to try harder, or I'll punish myself if I don't get this done. But that just makes the discomfort worse, which leads to, you guessed it, more procrastination. It's a vicious cycle. So what's the cure? Here it is: self-compassion. I know, it sounds super fluffy and not at all like the hardcore productivity advice you were expecting. But hear me out, because this is the game changer no one talks about. The first step is to stop beating yourself up for procrastinating. Seriously, just stop, because the more you shame yourself, the worse you feel. And remember, procrastination is emotional. So if you're already feeling bad about a task, adding guilt on top of that is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Instead, try this. The next time you catch yourself procrastinating, pause and say, okay, I'm procrastinating right now, and that's okay. I'm human. It happens. Just acknowledge it without judgment. I know it sounds too simple, but trust me, it works. When you give yourself permission to be imperfect, you take away some of the emotional weight that's holding you back. It's like telling your brain, hey, you don't need to fight me on this. We're on the same team. Alright, so once you've stopped beating yourself up, the next step is to get curious. Like, really curious. Ask yourself, why am I avoiding this? What am I feeling right now? For example, let's say you're putting off writing a report for work. Maybe you're avoiding it because it feels overwhelming and you don't know where to start. Or maybe you're scared it won't be good enough and your boss will judge you. Or maybe you're just tired and your brain is craving a break. Whatever it is, try to name the feeling. Is it fear? Overwhelm? Frustration? Once you name it, it becomes less scary. It's like shining a flashlight in a dark room. You realize the monster in the corner is just a pile of laundry. And here's the cool part. Once you identify the feeling, you can address it directly. If you're overwhelmed, break the task into smaller steps. If you're scared of failing, remind yourself that it's okay not to be perfect. If you're tired, give yourself permission to take a break. Just set a timer so you don't spiral into a Netflix binge. Now, this is where the magic happens. Once you've acknowledged your feelings and figured out what's really holding you back, the next step is to take one tiny action. I'm talking ridiculously tiny. Like, if you're avoiding cleaning your room, your first step might be picking up one sock. If you're avoiding a big project, your first step might be opening the document. That's it. Why does this work? Because action creates momentum. You don't need to feel motivated to start, you just need to start. And once you do, your brain goes, oh, this isn't so bad, and it becomes so much easier to keep going. Here's a little trick I use. I tell myself I only have to work on something for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. After that, I can stop if I want to. But 9 times out of 10, once I've started, I don't want to stop because the hardest part is over. And finally, don't forget to celebrate. Seriously, we're so bad at this. We focus so much on what we haven't done that we forget to acknowledge the progress we're making. So if you pick up that one sock, or write that one sentence, or work on that project for 5 minutes, celebrate it. Give yourself a high five, do a little happy dance, or just take a moment to say, hey, I'm proud of myself for showing up. It might feel silly at first, but it's so important. Every time you celebrate a small win, you're training your brain to associate action with positive feelings. And that makes it easier to keep taking action in the future. So let's recap. The procrastination cure no one talks about isn't about trying harder or being more disciplined. It's about being kinder to yourself. It's about understanding that procrastination isn't laziness, it's an emotional response. And the way to break free from it is to stop beating yourself up. Get curious about your feelings, start tiny, and celebrate your wins. Now here's my challenge for you. Think about the thing you've been avoiding. And then, right after this video, take one tiny action toward it. Just one. It can be as small as opening a document, writing one sentence, or setting a timer for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, do it, and then come back here and leave a comment telling me what you did. I'd love to cheer you on. And hey, if this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tips like this. You've got this. I believe in you. Alright, now go crush it. I'll see you in the next video.